All right, the lesson that we are talking about today is pre-algebra, unit 3, lesson number 4, more two-step equations. The homework that goes with this is page 6 and 7 in the homework packet, and we are on page 7 in your note packet. You want to do these two problems right now, so pause the video and do them, and then check. All right, to solve this, draw a line down the middle, separate it into two sides. We need to get the variable. Well, it's on this side. Which number is farthest from the variable? It'll be this, plus 12. So the opposite of plus 12 is minus 12 on both sides. 12 minus 12 is 0, so on the left I'm left with 6x equals negative 18 minus 12 is negative 30. This is negative 6 times x, so the opposite is dividing by negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 6. So you have negative 6 divided by 6, negative 6 is 1, so I'm left with x equals 5. All right, this equation. Same thing. Variable is on the left. Which one of these numbers is farthest from the variable? It's this minus 7. So what's the opposite of minus 7? Add 7 to both sides. So I'll have x divided by negative 3 equals 9. This is dividing by negative 3. The opposite of dividing by negative 3 is multiplying by negative 3. Remember, you always do the opposite to undo or transform. So this is negative 3 over 1. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, so I'm left with x equals negative 27. All right, here we go. This is page 7 in your notes. Draw a line down the middle. Which one of these numbers do I need to get rid of first? It's this 6. Now, you need to understand that 6 plus 3x is the same as 3x plus 6. Commutative property tells me I can reorder it as long as the signs are the same. So how do I move this 6 over to the other side? I subtract 6, and it would be obvious if we wrote it this way. 6 minus 6 is 0, so I have 3x equals 9. Divide both sides by 3, x is 3. All right. This equation. Again, I could rewrite this left-hand side as negative 10x. This would be plus 7 if I wanted to. But I don't need to do that. Which number do I need to get rid of first? This 7. I need to move that to the other side. So this is a positive 7 plus 7. So I subtract 7 from both sides. Now, pay attention here. You've got to bring down this negative 10x. Do not drop that negative sign. Negative 23 minus 7 is negative 30. Divide both sides by negative 10, and you get x is 3. All right, here we go. Getting a little bit more complicated. On this left-hand side, I need to move this 25 to the other side first. So this is positive 25. The opposite is subtract 25. 25 minus 25 is 0, so I'm left with 11/12b equals 47 minus 25 is what? 22. Now, there are two ways to go from here. This is 11/12b. That means we're multiplying by 11/12. So what's the opposite of multiplying by 11/12? Dividing by 11/12. So 11/12 divided by 11/12 is 1. So I'm left with b equals, now if you're using your calculator, you can just do 22 divided by 11/12. But if you are not using your calculator, you still need to go through this. Think about this. Dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. Keep switch flip. That's 22 over 1. 11 goes into 11 once, into 22 two times. 2 times 12 is 24. Now, that is the absolute long way to do that. Let's look at this. So if I get to this step, 11/12b equals 22. I agree that you can divide both sides by 11/12, but let's keep in mind, when you're dividing by 11/12, you've got to multiply by the reciprocal. So how about let's multiply both sides by the reciprocal right away. Watch what happens. This will be 132 over 132, which is 1b. So it's just b. 11 goes in there once, in there twice. That's 24. So it's quicker just to multiply both sides by the reciprocal from the beginning. If you want, you can divide by the fraction, but they're the same thing. All right, here we go. How do I solve this? I need to move this 5 over to the right first. So subtract 5 from both sides. And I'll have 4d equals 32. This is 4 times d, so the opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. So I'll have d is. All right, now, this is where things get a little tricky. What we say, you look on the side with the variable, and which one of these numbers is farthest from the variable? Well, it'll be the dividing by 5, because the 2 is in the numerator with the variable. So dividing by 5 is farthest from the variable. So I need to move the dividing by 5 to the other side first. So what's the opposite of dividing by 5? Multiply by 5. And I'm going to write it as 5 over 1. So we're clear about the fact that it's in the numerator. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So on this side, I'm left with x plus 2 equals 35. Well, one-step equation. Subtract 2 from both sides. X is 33. How can we check? Look, go back to the original equation. 33 plus 2 is 35, divided by 5 is 7, so we know we're right. All right, here we go. Variable is on the right. Which one of these numbers is farthest from the variable? This divided by 5. So that's the first thing I need to undo. So I multiply by 5 over 1. So I'll have 35 equals 4x plus 11. Which number is farthest from the variable? This plus 11. So I subtract 11 from both sides. So I have 24 equals 4x. Divide both sides by 4. X is 6. All right. What operations would you perform? And in what order would you perform them to solve? 1 plus 5n equals 20. So, what would we do first? To move this 1, we'd subtract 1. So, subtract 1, and then we'd have to divide by 5. Subtract 1, divide by 5. And if you can't see that, work through it. You subtract 1, because that's the furthest from the variable, and then you would divide by 5. It costs $7.50 to enter a petting zoo. Each cup of food to feed the animals is $2.50. If you have $12.50, how many cups can you buy? Use an equation to solve. So, you always need to define your variable. What are we looking for? The number of cups. So I'm going to say, let x equal the number of cups of food. Your variable is always what you're looking for, what you don't know. So, let's look at this. It costs $7.50 to get into the zoo, and it costs $2.50 for each cup of food. Well, we're buying X cups. So, 250X plus the original $7.50 to get in the door, and we've got $12.50 to spend. So, 250X plus $7.50 equals $12.50. How do we solve this? We need to subtract $7.50 from both sides. So we'll have 250x equals $5. Divide both sides by 250.